One of the world's largest software firms, Infosys, was started in Bangalore, India in 1981 on a shoestring budget of just $250. Competing on a worldwide playing field from day one, the company bet on a new way of providing information technology consulting. Its managers had to invest heavily in its talent pools located around the world. Today, Infosys revenues are in the billions of dollars, and its talent pool numbers hundreds of thousands of employees. Infosys decided that its primary HR focus would be on recruiting, selecting, and developing talent. Finding people with rare skills and managing them wisely is no easy task. For one thing, universities have not figured out how to get students to major in the areas where companies most need help. Surveys suggest that roughly 60% of U.S. college graduates cannot find a job in their field, and 30% of South Korean graduates are not employable. Yet, many jobs requiring technical skills go vacant every year. Another problem is that many countries are less willing to give an immigrant a high-skilled job when someone locally could do that job. And in countries where it is difficult to fire people, employers are cautious about taking a risk on someone they may not be able to get rid of. As one way of combating some of these challenges, companies are partnering with educational institutions and governments or local authorities. Infosys trains faculty at local universities to help align their curricula with the industries and its own needs. The company also invites students to visit the Infosys campus to learn about career opportunities. All these activities increase the likelihood that Infosys will attract and select the talent it wants in India, China, the United States, and the UK. How do companies know what employee skills they will need? They can put their specific corporate needs and needs of the local markets side by side to identify the characteristics of 4 critical types of human capital: local, subsidiary, corporate, and international. Each of these types develops differently, is typically managed differently, and contributes differently to value creation. Let's briefly see why. Local human capital reflects the location-specific experiences of employees in a particular country or market. Such knowledge, skills, and abilities include an understanding of customer needs, cultural traditions, institutional barriers, and political processes that may differ across countries. Companies can either hire these skills or develop them in their people. When Haier, the Chinese maker of refrigerators and kitchen appliances, decided to enter the U.S. market, it quickly brought on a team of sales managers from local competitors and a CEO from a New York-based retailer to provide the local human capital it needed to compete in the United States. When you combine location-specific and company-specific knowledge, you get subsidiary human capital, knowledge relevant to the company in a specific country context. Companies that adapt their practices to meet the needs of a local market are creating the basis for generating subsidiary human capital. When Apple set up iTunes Online in Mexico, it couldn't just copy the U.S. iTunes Store. Instead, it needed to learn to understand the Mexican music market and deliver content in a way that was consistent with Apple's online store format. So the company sent workers to Mexico from its headquarters in California. But first, it made sure they had deep understanding of Mexican culture and received additional training on the local music market in Mexico. Corporate human capital is composed of company-specific knowledge, skills, abilities, and other attributes whose value transcends any one particular location in the company. As individuals rotate across international locations, they may develop corporate human capital by accumulating experience and recognizing which knowledge sets are generalizable to other locations. For example, Chase Bank needs to deliver banking services in South Africa in a fashion similar to the way things are done elsewhere in the company. So it sends local employees on rotation assignments to headquarters in the United States and also ensures that experienced employees rotate out to work with their colleagues in South Africa. Often overlooked by managers, international human capital is low in both company specificity and location specificity. However, it is key to keeping ahead in the global industry. It can include, for example, knowledge of global best practices, global industry standards, international trade laws, modular systems and processes, cross-border industry networks, and other transportable forms of experience that are applicable across multiple companies and countries. When Amazon entered the Indian market, it wanted employees to understand and apply global best practices, so it sent them to trade shows and networking events to find these practices. Taken together, these 4 types of human capital represent the key types of talent global companies need at various times. To develop corporate human capital, for example, Infosys sometimes sends its U.S. IT consultants to India for training. At the same time, it develops their subsidiary human capital by helping them understand how the Infosys way of doing things can help local U.S. clients.